Hello, guys and gals, me Mutahar, and I made a pretty good decision for myself, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I deleted my own Twitter account there, boyos. Yep, it's completely gone. Now you might be like, "Whoa, why would somebody jump down and do something like that, Muta?" Now there's a couple reasons for it. One of them is it actually doesn't really do any benefit. We actually ran the numbers, and cost-benefit analysis-wise, using X was a total waste of time and actually offered no benefit to the YouTube channel whatsoever.
You know what else doesn't offer any benefit to your YouTube channel whatsoever? Affiliating with Taku. Oh, I had to get that in, I'm sorry. But Muta decided to say this about deleting his X account, and to be honest, guys, I have no idea what this means. I guess what he means is like exactly what he said. If it's not benefiting his YouTube channel, he'll like throw it away. At least just Twitter X as a whole. He's gonna give some other convoluted reason that's not gonna make any real sense given what we know about him and his past statements and history, but I'll just let him talk about it for now, and like we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So keep going, Muta.
But over the last, I want to say, few months, the platform has effectively become 4chan's X, ladies and gentlemen. So there's a bit of a speculation as to, oh, Muta, did you get hacked? Did you have the Christian Sonichu medallion react on you? Now, I can't speak much for black magic, but I can confirm that my 17 virtual machines have not been breached, and I have not been hacked. No, I actually went through and deactivated, and I probably shouldn't be saying this, but they're like, killed two-factor authentication. The site doesn't even tell you, oh, goodbye, you deactivated. No, we just took away a critical security feature. That's always a good sign, by the way. Real. Oh, that's wild.
So I'm gonna agree and I'm gonna disagree with one thing he said and another thing he said. So in terms of X, Twitter becoming 4chan to him, or just in general, that's kind of a stretch when people like Leafy still got banned. I mean, if this was effectively like 4chan, you know, people wouldn't still be getting suspended. And clearly, you're not able to be as hateful as one would be on 4chan. And even if you are, you eventually get yeeted. Hell, I have people that still get their Twitters locked simply for being mean on a reply they got baited by. In terms of the security or just the features of X being shit, well, that's a thing. I mean, you're talking about a website that you now have to essentially pay to use because Elon doesn't know how to run the shit because he's actually a fucking idiot that just got lucky with an idea and then became a millionaire or billionaire, whatever he is. I mean, you gotta figure somebody that sticks their wee-wee into Amber Heard is kind of a dipshit, let's be honest. Sorry, Johnny. I call it like it is. I'm not grifting off your name. Ricada.
But ladies and gentlemen, one of the things about, you know, using the internet is I've come across some real wild stuff. You know, there used to be a period where we actively browse the deep web every week, and now the last deep web video I made was about a month ago. You know, and I do a lot of tech related stuff, virus stuff. Like I literally was like destroying my virtual machines with like crazy malware to the point where I was wiping bootloaders from Windows and all the way through Linux and everything. It was insane. I made that video like 2 weeks ago. So from time to time, I make these videos. And when it comes to deep web stuff, like obviously I've seen wild stuff. Okay, like I've seen wannabe red rooms. I've seen actual like full-on racist websites and stuff. And it really felt like the last couple like months on X or Twitter or whatever the heck it is, really felt like being on 4chan poll every day. You know, when you fire up your timeline and you see like, oh, this Pajit Poo in the loo, get him out of the country, boy. You know, it's like, you know, when you go on to like 4chan poll, yeah, you can laugh at it every once in a while, but when it becomes like a constant thing, it really just sucks all the energy and fun out of it. Like, dog, if I wanted to go to poll, I would just go to poll, okay?
Okay, I don't hate this guy, and I don't think he's malicious or really a bad faith actor, but this is a completely pussy pansy excuse. As I've already stated, if it was the Wild Wild West as he has described it to be, people wouldn't still be getting suspended for bullshit reasons on like a regular basis. It's one of the main criticisms people have for Elon too, when they, you know, inevitably woke up and smelled the roses, the shit-covered roses. Hey Elon, if you're supposed to be free speech, why the fuck are you still getting people suspended or allowing people to be suspended? Why are you cutting Destiny's revenue? Not that I really care, but I'm just saying, doesn't that allegedly go against his free speech principles? We already saw that Elon went over and bent over backwards for the advertisers, even though he said he wasn't going to, but now he's doing it. So again, to think that this is going to be the Wild Wild West, the 4chan-ish shit that Muta is describing is fucking improbable. It's impossible, and is quite frankly retarded. Because here's the other thing, Muta, you'd have to be extremely invested into this internet, into the Twitter machine, in order to actually go past your millions or thousands of notifications that you get on a fucking regular basis because you are a million-plus sub YouTuber that has a good reputation and has an active channel that's not dead, in order to just see these simple jokes that are probably from throwaway accounts. If you claim that they're on your feed, that might be because of people that you fucking follow, or that might be that you didn't filter things out properly. The point is, this is a bad fucking excuse. And again, it just makes you look like a giant fucking pussy. Not to mention that worse has been done to other people. Like I see on a semi-regular basis, Tubby D, aka Nick Diorio, aka Big B, has been redeemed even though he wanted to fly a miner out the fucker. And Mutahar's own fucking wife on Gen goals on a regular basis, semi-regular, almost every day, shit talk fucking tipster. Jesus, if this was Mutahar, if Mutahar was tipster, I think fucking Muta would be in the fetal position crying. Because again, if a couple Wass's jokes that you need to go out of your way to see are enough to get you off Twitter and be like, this hurt my feelings, on a time where we so desperately don't want the restrictions of censorship, then you're a massive fucking pussy. I'm sorry, bro. I like you again. I don't think you're a bad faith actor, and I think you've done a good decent amount of work on the interwebs compared to some dipshits, but this is a very, very pussy move. It almost makes me think that you're bullshitting all of us right now, and this isn't the actual reason why you deleted your account. It just doesn't make any fucking sense, bro. But whatever. Keep going, Muta. Let's see what else you got.
Like, I've seen people claim that I've defended Andrew Tate when I literally have videos. Like, the last video I made on Tate, probably about a year ago, we literally looked at how one of his cases involved actual grown 30-year-old men victim shaming somebody who was a minor. Like, it's insane shit. It's insanely wild stuff. It's like nobody on that website can do any research. And when it comes to politics, one of the things that I personally find a little wild is, like, the toxicity has gotten to the point where it's like people on the website view everyone around the world through this very American lens, right? Like, as a Canadian, I don't give a shit about Kamala or Trump. I can't vote for either or, okay? It doesn't matter. Like, goddamn, bro, I live in Leafland, dog. You think I give a shit?
David, I mean, I know you're a sophisticated guy. The world is a mess. The world is as angry as it gets. Well, you think this is going to cause a little more anger? The world is an angry place.
Like, even having an account like mine that actually got a shit ton of engagement, like we were talking hundreds of millions of impressions a month. I remember when I was in the revenue sharing, bro, Elon was handing out $300 checks, okay? So for a lot of these accounts that are making thousands of dollars, they're posting shit like actual engagement bait, like that Sneeko, stuff that I was talking about earlier. Or people just share random engagement bait, and if it's not engagement bait, it's just like literal porn. So you have that, you have nonsense political engagement bait, and there's very little actual content that I enjoy. In the last 2 weeks of using it, my usage of the platform pretty much dwindled to like uploading a couple screenshots from my PlayStation 4. And one of the only things that I got excited about, literally, was like looking at Bloodborne. Like, a couple days ago, I saw this Bloodborne trend on it, and I was like, oh my god, this is actually something I'm excited about. Let's go to Bloodborne. And obviously, that's where we found out about the progress that Shad PS4 had. And then I made a video, because I was like, oh, I gotta talk about emulator stuff, especially if PS4 stuff is as good. And I was like, man, if this is the only thing this app is providing after all this time, then there really isn't any point of
Dude,
keeping
I swear to God, this guy is just bitching about society at this point. Like, a lot of the problems he's mentioning aren't even exclusive to X. They're just real-life problems that won't go away just because you get rid of your X account. Like, these problems have been around and will continue to be around. But it just sounds like Muta's bitching for no reason. I don't know, maybe Muta just had a bad week. A week before he made this video, he also had a seemingly equal bad week, as his buddy Taku was exposed for wanting to collaborate with CP artist Shadman, to where Nux had to do immediate damage control. And by that I mean deflecting onto everybody that wasn't him. And I swear to God that was Nux's entire defense. It was like, look man, I only said that I wanted to collaborate with him to troll him. You guys should be focusing on Belle Delphine. It's stupid shit like that. And then Nux went ahead and he compared himself to Quiet or something, and that was the fucking stupidest shit ever. Oh, but it got even more pathetic when he begged Mutahar to do a segment on his channel, so that Muta can say, oh, it wasn't Taku that made me end the Some Ordinary podcast. It was actually... Yeah, it was really spineless shit. It was almost as spineless as the display that Muta presented when he was grilled by Chud Logic. And this was the result of that.
Chud feels better now. Chud feels better.
Mutahar, you lying f***ing scumbag. What is your problem, dude? Why did you throw me under the bus with some dude that's got lolly in his videos? What is your problem?
Okay, just as a spoiler alert, Muta's going to ramble on for a little bit, trying to explain himself. I'll let that entire thing play out just for the sake of being fair, but again, you've been warned. Muta's gonna ramble a little bit, but don't worry, he's gonna be put in his space shortly after. Or rather, his place. There you go, his place. Oh god. Gotta learn to edit these things.
Okay, I called you a lot of things, but we're going to put that to one side. And I'm just going to ask, what was the reason for this confusion, which made me look kind of retarded over the podcast?
why the podcast was shutting down.
Yeah.
So I remember the time we were talking, you brought up the Nux Shadman stuff, which was a thing we looked at, just because you know that list came out on YouTube Drama about all the people connected to Shadman.
Mm-hmm.
So we. That it was better to have a set in Texas and just start filming.
That's fine, but you said it was nothing to do with Nux Taku, which was totally different to what you said to me.
What do you mean? Nothing to do with Nux Taku? The podcast shutting down?
Yes.
Right, hold on, let me just mediate.
On
really
my
quick.
stream.
Neither party knows what's going on.
This gets so embarrassing that Tuvelis Diorio has to come in and mediate so that his network group doesn't get fucked up. And Turkey Tom just straight up fucking leaves the call. Probably a good call by Tommy Boy though. Oh, but don't worry, the best is still to come, because finally somebody in the network can fucking put Muta on the spot about why, if Muta hates Wally so much, why is he fucking friends with Nux Taku? For those of you that don't know, this has been like an open secret for many years. Nux would use Wally bait thumbnails all the freaking time and cultivated an audience that loved Wally, which is why when he turned on Reb Says Disu and that side of the community, a lot of people had a bad taste in their mouth. So again, just what's that word we're looking for here? A little hypocritical. Because again, how can you just badmouth Wally if your best friend was a grandmaster of it? Well, look, I'm not gonna judge, okay? This is the new Sen, the non-judgmental Sen. However, if you're going to be a massive judger like Muta and Nux for some reason, well, I think you should be held to the fire for that. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be allowed to weasel out of this shit, and Muta doesn't get to weasel out of this in this episode. So, play it, monkeys.
Okay, this is all rambling that you're doing to distract from the issue, Mutahar. Let's cut to the fucking chase here, okay? You said point A on my stream, okay, which gave one impression, and then you said point B. Point A being the podcast is ending, and it was very strongly implied it was because of Nux Taku, and then there's this investigation you apparently need to do, and then later
no,
like...
there was a lot of behind the scenes stuff.
Okay,
yes,
bro, that is total cope to like there's all these other. Yes, you mentioned it, but the focus was on about Nux Taku having this connection with Shadman that coloured the whole thing, and that was the focus of what you were saying to me. Was it not?
Okay, but that was brought up on a stream. I even mentioned that there were other things aside from that too.
Yes,
And I
you
followed
did,
it
but
up
that was
on
like a
Twitter as
second.
well.
But that was yeah, okay. But on Twitter, that was you sweeping for Nux Taku. It's so obvious, dude. It's so obvious
I
that it
wasn't
changed. The
sweeping for
energy
it. We were
changed of what
looking
you were
into.
saying.
I wasn't sweeping for him. I looked into the situation. At the time, it showed up on YouTube Drama. Again, this is all stuff that was happening super duper fluidly.
It's not happening. The podcast is done. I say, dude, this is hard because obviously you know people want, and you say the podcast is done. Yeah, the podcast is done now. I say, wait, what? You say, yeah, the podcast is over. We're not filming. We are not filming the last episode now. I ask you if you're serious. You say, yeah, we're not doing the podcast anymore. I say, why? You say, we're supposed to film on Tuesday. Well, there's a couple of reasons for it. A lot of that was obviously the Shad stuff too.
Yeah, a lot of it is the Shat stuff as well, because at the time the YouTube Drama list came out, and that was just one of the things we were looking at with Nux Taku.
That is a more conclusive statement than you're giving it credit for. And now you're trying to claim that afterwards you made another statement to clarify when you gave a conclusive statement on my show.
I followed it up on Twitter literally like the day after the fucking clips was going out by that one scene.
Yeah.
All right, now that Muta's properly buried himself for sweeping for Nux, it's time for Muta to bury himself for pretending not to know the type of content Nux has made over the years and what he was most known for, and why it's incredibly stupid and hypocritical for him to actually be against lolly content while he's friends with Nux Taku. Before I do that, I do want to point out that I also saw some of the criticism for Muta that makes him absolutely bitch made, and it kind of goes hand in hand with this, because here's what Muta will do. He'll call other people pedophiles. He'll watch cartel beheading videos for the lulz. He'll make fun of others. He induces harassment of others. For that, the only example I really do have is this one where like it's a very, very shady group chat. This was in regards to a content creator that was deplatformed seemingly by Keemstar after they had a falling out. Mutahar was in the group chat. Now their defense is that it was just a shit talk group chat. Here's Muta implying somebody is a pedophile because lol, I guess that's funny to him, but don't make poo jokes about him because that's too far. Here's Mutahar asking for like somebody's docs or something. It's okay because it's in private. See, you're allowed to ask for a first and last name if it's in private. Or try to use their... Listen, man, not gonna make a moral argument of sorts here. I'm just gonna say that it's very funny coming from these people. And the reason is because they preach about how it's bad to do this all the time, but then they got caught with their hands in the cookie jar. It's just a very unbecoming thing of somebody like Muta's status, right? For what he likes to present to his audience. He's never presented this side of him. Like, this can easily be seen as conspiring against a content creator that's been deplatformed. For what reason? I guess he got your jimmies ruffled. But again, poo jokes are too far for Muta. I gotta say, re-looking at these screenshots make me realize how bitch-made he actually is. And maybe he is a nice guy and a charming guy, but again, reflecting on these receipts and what he's done in the past kind of really does make you look at him in a different light, especially with his asinine excuse for why he deleted his Twitter account. I mean, literally, this guy is going around calling people pedophiles, which I guess is fine in his book if you do it in private. But again, like the sheer irony, seeing as how if you want to call Boogie one, you'd have to call Keem one. Oh, but I guess you're not going to do that because you're in a group chat with him and he's your friend, huh? Or, social media associate? I don't know. Catty shit, I guess, is the best thing I can describe it as. But anyway, let me play the rest of Chud just destroying Muta and Muta just burying himself.
Taking a look. I don't know.
Did Nux do anything illegal or something?
I don't think so. And listen, it's difficult because, you know,
I have no idea to watch him do it.
Okay, I'm not the kind of person that wants to hold you to some standard of someone else's behavior. Okay, but Nux Taku is participating in your podcast and benefiting from your reputation when, you know, I think at the very least he's a weird freak who was permissive of lolicon stuff when it benefits his channel years ago and now wants to act like he's nothing to do with it. You know, in the video it shows you some weird shit that he's had on his thumbnails and in the videos. I get it's difficult if you're his friend, but this is insane. This guy's a total freak.
Wait, so he's like a lolicon defender?
There's plausible
this is
deniability. right? So I've not got a video of him, you know, jerking off to Lolicon, okay? But what I do have is him using Lolicon for his content, or using questionably aged people, or using completely degenerate shit in his videos, and he's showing it as like, oh, I don't want to show you this, but oh, here's this content, isn't it gross? And then there's thumbnail issues where he's got like, you know, a thumbnail of, I believe, an underage character from Game of Thrones. At one point, he says he changed it after 15 minutes, and then there's other footage that shows that 2 weeks later he still had this thumbnail on there. So, you know, what makes it more difficult is
the child thing.
what makes it more difficult is Taku is not honestly presenting any of this stuff.
Then
He's clearly not doing it to
have
you.
him on the show for him to explain it then.
Yeah, I'd happily speak to this fucking guy. I would happily speak to this guy. Whether he'd want to or not, I don't know. But yes, I think there's stuff here that he needs to fucking be more honest about, you know, rather than just try and sweep it away using your reputation. Okay, I'm trying to be calm. Okay.
I think
That's
it's
my
one of those
perspective.
things where it's like, we should just bring him on and confront him with it. Because
Sure.
look, if the whole thing is like with his Lolicon stuff is like his history, because obviously I think Nick even described it on this show just like 20 minutes ago. Like when you're, or I think it was Tom, when you're collaborating with somebody, it's like, obviously you're just sitting there making a video. We haven't done like a full background to look onto what his content is or anything. Obviously, I was on a few collaborations with him when he was doing like fucking memes and like the game shows with like 15 fucking creators. And that's pretty much the extent of my collaborations behind the scenes. He's only been like a kind person to me, and we've had just, you know, mature conversations that are well outside the scope of YouTube or just discussing business. I've never really he's never really shown me Lolicon in the background.
I just feel like you're taking it a bit easy on him because you're friends with him. Hey, listen, look, all it is, okay, I understand this is difficult to get pressed on this life. If this is your friend, I get it, it's hard. But like, I just feel like we're having like
if it's a friend and it turns out tomorrow there's like a fucking horse folder, the Vosh horse folder, then it's a fucking full condemnation. It's not like there's going to be a sweeping down the rug for it. And obviously...
Do you feel that, okay, this is simple. Do you feel that Taku is honestly representing himself in all of this? To you?
On that, no. I mean, I'm looking at that character. I don't know if that's fucking loli or whatever, but it's, I mean, it's like fucking dog having sex with a woman, so it's already way bad for me anyways. It doesn't even have to have the loli connotations. Yeah. I just sent it right over to Nux over there, so... I actually would rather have him on this show discussing this whole thing because, again, I can't dig through somebody's head, but that's not a good looking thumbnail in any regard. There is a bit of bias for sure, obviously, because you're friendly with somebody. Yes. But do I consider it on the same level as like the Vosh horse folder stuff? I would have to have like the horse folder would have to be like in existence before you like completely sever a tie with somebody, right?
Yeah, I think that's enough of Muta being properly owned and backtracking and admitting that if his friend has Wally shit, he's going to give it the most charitable interpretation because it's his internet friend. But he doesn't mind calling a bunch of random people pedophiles. But his friend, who's, you know, pedo adjacent by his own logic at this point, oh, he deserves a pass. Yeah, I'm sure Epstein thought the same way. Good job, Muta. Really proving a good point here. Oh, before I end this video, because we already listed all of Muta's L's, let me point out one last bit of hypocrisy that I think is really funny. Turns out Tom decides to join back into this call and give his hot take. Well, not even hot take, just his genuine take. I find what he says to be a little hypocritical in itself.
Nux is a completely unprincipled person, basically, on this shit, and basically willing to use the degenerate stuff when it's convenient, and then, you know, when it's called out, he's like, well, I never really did that, you know?
He's another one of those people that pretend to hate Wally content. But did you know Turkey Tom actually had a lolly-loving friend named Larix?
Yeah, dis-a-fucking-vow. That's clearly a kid. I don't know. Anyone who's saying lolly is hot, fuck off. I never want anything to do with you. I don't want anything to do with people like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Larix is the current day wannabe doppelganger of Augie RFC. He's protected by the commentary community for whatever reason. But here's a literal clip of Turkey Tom acknowledging that Larix fucks with lolly content.
The rundown is Aiden's like gay, and it's like, I disagree with that. And
Is it about your degenerate lolly likes? Is that what this is about?
Okay, dude.
Well,
No.
Is that what it's about? What is it?
Technically, yeah.
Oh, okay, I see.
Ladies and gentlemen, my point has been proven. All these people are fucking hypocrites. I just had to get that last little bit in. Nobody on that panel is clean. I like Chud the most. I think he's probably the most genuine, even though I had to debate him for an hour about Lyrics because Lyrics was too much of a fucking pussy to do it himself after he got exposed for lying. But again, I think Chud might be like the most honest, and the conversation overall with him ended up favorable and amicable. I think, at least. As for Tubulus, the Oreo, Low T Tom, and Muta, well guys, all I can say is do better. But what do I know? If you could keep conning people and not be put on the spot by individuals like Chud, I guess you guys are doing a fine job. Anyway, that's all I have for this video. Like and share if you enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel if you like the realness. This is the new SomeOrdinaryGamers, remember. I'll see you all in the next one. Have a good rest of your day.